Hello everyone! Thank you so much for being here again. I'm here with my tiny microphone and I'm Barbara. Here's my new shirt. Do you want to see it? I made this shirt yesterday. These are my healthy organs. Here are my lungs, my heart, liver, the colon. They are shining because they are all healthy. So today I'm going to show you my portfolio. Well, one part of my portfolio. This year I've been doing consciously art for 10 years, so I've got a lot of art, a lot of projects. So let's get back to 2009 when I started to make photographs consciously. Everywhere I went, I was just bringing my camera with me and I was documenting everything. So I didn't really make stage photographs, just sometimes, but mostly I was making photographs during my day, during where I was going, or I was just going out to take photographs. I can show you a few of them, and I loved, and I still do love, everything which is like hidden. This one looked like a mystery for me, like another universe for me. So like during the night time it was so magical for me. This is a portrait of one of my dear friends. It's not a stage photograph, but we were like having a party all night with a few of my friends, and we get to my place and he was like standing at the light, in the morning light, and it was just so gorgeous, with a wine cup with water in it. This one, she's an artist too. She was having an accident and someone like cut inside of her finger. She was afraid that she will not able to draw again. So a lot of tension was there, and we went to the hospital and we were waiting. I was able to tell that she's really afraid, and I love these photographs because of this, because there's so many tension there, but also hope. So I love this photograph of her. This one is from a series that I was watching through my neighbor's window, like what they are doing. I was part of their lives, basically. I know it sounds really scary, but like artists are like this. So here, this was one of my favorite photographs during this time. When we were in Nottingham, in the UK, he was a student, artist student. I know like everyone is telling you probably, but you really look like Dürer. And he was like, who is he? And I was like, what, you don't know Dürer? So I took a photo of him with this phone where I put Dürer in it. So like he looks like him so much. So, and I have a lot of other like favorite photographs during this time. Like this one is from my first apartment. I lived there just for half a year, but it was a really depressing time. And I have a pair for this photograph, what was one of my favorite photographs I did in this time. I didn't change anything, just the ISO number I changed, and because of that the lighting turns out differently. So I wanted to show you, like, if you're watching something with a different eye, a different light, then you know the same situation can be looked differently. Like this is also a mystery photograph. This one from with my mother, she's painting my hair, and maybe now I'm showing you some montage of my favorite photographs. And then I get into Hungarian Fine Art University in Budapest. I was at the Intermedia department. The good thing for me about Intermedia was I didn't have to do like one thing. Like I was not just painting, or I was just not taking photographs. I'm a kind of person who loves to do different things at the same time. If you're like just watching like behind me, like there's a ukulele here, there's this sewing machine here, there's some paint here, and you screenshots from animations. So like I'm a kind of person who likes to do different stuff at the same time. I started to make videos, I made a movie, I was doing animations, more photographs, and of course I was painting, because you know the time when you are in a university it's important to like explore, and I was doing so much. And then I get a little bit bored, so I applied for Erasmus and I went to Italy, to Macerata, to this small city. And then I went to the Venice Academy. It's interesting because I didn't really learn anything in the academia. In the country itself, I learned a lot about cooking, about food, about vegetables, and I started to explore them, and I started to work with them. I started to look at it as art form, and I still think that. Like making a pizza is just amazing, and it's really true art. There's a video where I talk about object-free walk and my first experience with it. Here I'm living in a countryside, I'm not living in a huge city. I used to be in Budapest, and I live like in the nature, and there's like a lot of time when I go out, go somewhere, and I don't have anything with me. I started to feel free again, how I felt when I was a kid. And I realized having this kind of freedom is awesome, and we should experience it more, especially if you are like a city person. And I started to do these walks that when I don't bring anything, no cell phone, no keys, no wallet, no nothing. And it's just super, it's super empowering and inspirational. It's just amazing. So you should absolutely try it. Like check on the video, learn about it and do it, but be really careful and tell me about it if you did, because it's awesome. So yeah, I moved here and I started to like a little bit struggle about this whole thing, obviously, that I was leaving my home country, my friends, my family. So it started to be a little bit difficult. So because of that, I obviously started to work with it. I made a lot of drawings which are like explaining and kind of like making not fun but like laughing about this whole thing, the struggles of like moving abroad. And I searched for a couple of friends who are also living abroad from all around the world. We were like chit-chatting about this whole experiencing and exchanging. We were exchanging these things, like how difficult it is to leave your whole country behind and everything and your life. And it was really empowering. It was really fantastic. I really loved it. So yeah, so after this I graduated from my university. I have colitis ulcerosa, which is a colon disease. There's inflammation in my colon. This is for life. This is, well, doctors say that you can't really cure it. And it was really difficult, obviously. I had a lot of fear and struggle with it. I felt I lost my femininity because society is saying like women are not pooing, which is mind-blowing. I had some problems during my teenage time and also in my 20s about my body, because I'm really tall and I'm chubby. So when I grew up, the woman beauty, it was small 40 kilograms girls, like really shy and cute, and I was always really loud and making jokes around, and I was really and I am really different compared to so-called beauty. Here in Italy I feel much more confident. I feel so much respected at the same time compared to Hungary. This is also a different video. Like if you want me to talk about this diploma work and all the topic around it, I will tell you. But the diploma work itself, I made 8 photographs. These are staged photographs, and these are self-portraits. I was losing my femininity during this whole experience, and it was really not easy. But the same time I found my femininity because of this disease, because of my diploma work. I'm not just thinking about now as a aesthetic. I think of my body as a tool which brings me from A to B, to brings me to mountains that I can swim with it, and this, I can eat and kiss and like experience all these things. I was starting to do sports again regularly and eat healthy, so my whole relationship with my body, with food, with sports changed in a really positive way because of this series. After my diploma work, after I graduated from the university, I moved to Birmingham, to the UK, for an artist residency, where I was living on a boat, what I loved so much, and it was amazing because I was in the Venice Academia, where they have this kind of system. In the UK they have it that too, and in Birmingham I was working with the canal system as well. I was making a photo series with people who has connection with the canal system, so people who are working on it, who are living on it, who grew up next to it, so they had stories with the canal system. So I was trying to give stories, give these information, this love about the canal system to other people, because I saw there was a lot of junk thrown into the canals, and it was so sad for me. I was trying to, through these stories, these personal stories, I tried to show them how fantastic the place where they are in. If you want, you can check it out. I made a vlog about this whole experience, about the whole artist residency, but I was living on a boat during, so it's awesome, you should check it out. After Birmingham, I was starting to work with one of my friends, Chubby. We worked on a documentary called Veteran Film, which is an awesome movie about two Hungarian pilots who fought in the Second World War. The movie is about the love, the passion for something, which is in this case flying. The movie is also about friendship and getting old. The main two characters, they were 93 and 96 years old when we were shooting. They were friends all in their lives, basically. And they have so much knowledge and wisdom and joy, which is amazing to watch. Chubby, my friend, who is the director, cameraman and editor of the film, he didn't want like a Second World War movie, like showing, the war and everything. He wanted something which is close to our hearts. He didn't want to put archives when they are talking about the war times. So he was like thinking about me, like, Barbara can draw and make animation. Kind of. This was my first animation, I tell you, because I made some kind of animations before, but like this was the first for me. He asked me and I obviously said yes, and it was one of my best experience because it was such a fun job. I loved to work with him, with one of my best friends. I loved to work for this story. It was such a fun journey. So after this I get into my deep point, which was 2018, so last year. Usually when you are graduating university, after that for a year you have this deep point because you don't know what to do, like real life starts to happening now, and like you're out there, I don't have any job, blah blah blah. Well, I didn't have that in the first year because I was going to the residency, I was working on this film, so I was really busy, and also I was doing other stuff at the same time. I had exhibitions, so I was fine. But last year it started to go back and it started to disappear, all these like jobs. I had some jobs but not so much. And I was afraid, like, what am I going to do? Like, what's going to happen with me? So that was the time I started to do new things. So I started to paint again, and I started to learn to play music, and I was learning how to sew, and that's how my clothes came out. I started to make clothes, what I really enjoyed, because I realized during my colon journey, I didn't really care before how I looked like. I mean, kind of cared, but my relationship with fashion and stuff was like really strange. I realized that all of my clothes are uncomfortable, and I was realizing this because of my disease, because I started to experience and explore an awareness of my body, like in every day, like what my body is saying to me and how it reacts and how it feels because of my disease. Everyone is saying like, oh, I'm getting home and I'm putting on my sweatpants and I feel so good, but I wanted to have this feeling also outside of the house. So I started to make like these skirts which were from blankets. I was doing them from blankets. I'm not joking. Like, they were so fluffy. The material was awesome. It was really warm, and it was also really colorful. Like, because everything what you can find in stores are like dark blue and dark green, and it was so boring for me. So I really wanted to have something which is like super colorful and warm. So I made them from blankets. That's when I started to do my Instagram posts, which were talking about body consciousness and body positivity, and all of this. I want to talk about like how society brainwashed us, and we think like we have to be a certain size and a certain color, and we have to have a certain hair or whatever to be beautiful, to be wanted. So for the future, I'm in a lot of projects, and obviously I'm still making a lot of photographs in a documented way and also in a staged way. I'm going to paint more, making clothes. I'm going to have some projects in Venice, and if you want, I also will talk about like my diploma project or whatever. Like, so thank you so much for listening to my artist portfolio, and see you in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe. You don't have to, but it would be nice. Have a nice day. Bye.